So hello everyone, good evening. Let's start with today's lecture. So please join in fast so that we can start. Okay, so let's have a recapitulation that what we have studied in the last class. So still we are going in the chapter of linear algebra. Okay, and we have seen in the last class some important topics like inverse, and we have seen adjoint, which was used to find out the inverse. Okay, so we have seen this topic. Again, we have seen some types of matrices which were orthogonal matrix. What was an orthogonal matrix? If you remember, orthogonal matrix is a matrix which follows this relationship that if A into A transpose is I, then that is known as orthogonal matrix. That we have discussed this in yesterday class. And then we saw some types of complex matrices like Hermitian matrix, Q Hermitian matrix, and so on. Okay, if any doubt is there in the previous classes, you can ask right now, and please please come revising for at least 10 minutes to the next lecture, so that it will be helpful to you to understand the upcoming topics. Now, talking about the upcoming topics, in today's lecture we are going to look into the vector space. Actually, we had started this in the last class also. So we will consider some terms in this vector space topic, and then we will see rank of a matrix. And again, rank is important because concept of rank is used in this topic, in which we will be solving some equations, system of equations. Okay, so understanding rank is important, and for calculating rank you need the concepts of this vector space. So everything is interrelated from now, so you should be able to study. We have already completed the basics of algebra, matrix algebra. Now we are going into the part where actually the questions asked are frequent questions are asked from these topics. Okay, any doubt in the previous classes, you can comment now. And in the last class we stopped at a part where I was discussing about linearly independent and dependent vectors. So I took an example that you and your parents are dependent, and why is it so? Because you are following some relationship. So in the same case, as in the real life example, here also if the vectors are having some relationship among themselves, then they are said to be dependent. If there does not exist, if there is no relationship between the vectors, then they will be known as set of linearly independent vectors. That's what we have studied in the last class. And yes, hello. So at a point I was teaching you that what is the difference between linearly independent and dependent. At the point where I stopped, now I'm starting with there only. So we have seen that among these three vectors, you can find a relationship. You already gave me the relationship. That relationship was this one. Okay, x minus y. So what we said, relationship exists means they will be linearly dependent. Okay, Zeno, are you there? Okay, so Zeno is not there, so let's focus here. So z is equal to x minus y was given, and I said that this set as a whole is a set of linearly dependent vectors because of the relationship which exists among these three vectors. Okay, now let's say if I add one more vector here, x1 vector. Let's say x1 vector is this one. Okay, now again if I ask you, is there any relationship among these four vectors? Is there any relationship among these four vectors? So for finding out the dependency, at last I have told you that there is a condition like this: k1, x1, k2, x2, k3, x3, and so on, kn, xn. If this relationship follows, then the vectors are said to be linearly dependent, but the condition is that all these constants should simultaneously not be zero. One of them can be 0, two of them can be 0, but all of them simultaneously can't be 0. So now if I ask you, are these four vectors a set of linearly dependent vectors? So because this set follows the relationship like this, I am writing down, look at it carefully. So 0x1 plus x2 I am taking as x vector here, and we had a relationship of z x minus y. Okay, so I can write it like this, that 1 x vectors minus 1 y vector minus 1 z vector is equal to 0. So because all these vectors are falling into this kind of a relationship, so that we can say that these are the set of linearly dependent vectors. These are a set of linearly dependent vectors. Now, if I ask you how many of these four are linearly dependent, how many of these four are linearly dependent, so how will you say? First of all, in this relationship, the coefficient of x1 is 0. First of all, if you look in this, the coefficient of x1 is 0. This implies directly that actually x1 is not in the relationship. X1 is not in the relationship, but because of this mathematical formula, we have just taken the coefficient of x1 as 0. So because x1 was not in any of the relationship, so what we will say here, that this x1 is a linearly dependent vector. This x1 is linearly dependent vector. First of the conclusion, that it will be linearly dependent. Now second thing is that we have discussed the dependency of two vectors. Two vectors are said to be dependent if one can be written as the multiple of the other. Yes? In the last class, or you can see in the slide also, if x1 and x2 are dependent, that means one can be written as the multiple of the other. Now here you can see that neither x can be written as a multiple of y, neither y can be written as a multiple of z, and neither z can be written as a multiple of x. So these are these two as a set are not dependent. These two as a set are not dependent. But what is happening? What is happening is that z is equal to x minus y. Means z is dependent upon x and y, but not individually x and individually y. You can see that z is not dependent individually on x, neither z is not depending individually on y, but it is depending upon the subtraction of these two vectors. So what will I say? That z vector is dependent and x and y are independent. X and y individually, they do not have any relationship with any of the other three vectors, but z is related with x minus y. That's why z is treated to be the dependent by the vector. This vector will be treated to be dependent and these two as independent. So this is the conclusion that we have drawn in this case. You cannot write z if you don't have x and y. But x is independent, it is not affected by y also, it is not affected by z also, if you are following this relationship. Okay. One more thing I would like to emphasize here is that in our syllabus or as GATE point of view, will not be focused about which one is dependent. Will be focused on how many are dependent. Okay. The question will always not be which. Like in the case I have told you, at this time you are dependent on your parents, but after your some time, after 2 to 3 years or 5 years, your parents will be dependent on you. So dependency may change according to the time or according to the situation, but always in the set of parents and child, always one will be dependent. So the count, the number will be remaining the same, but according to the situation, which one is dependent will change. So in our point of view, or the focus for us will be how many of them are dependent and independent, not which one are dependent and independent. Any doubt up to this point? Please ask if you have any doubt, because this concept is important as that will be used to find out the rank. So you can't ignore this concept. Okay, so we have already written. So Chandresh is having some doubt, I guess. So ask Chandresh, you can ask anytime now. So we have discussed one more thing, that linearly dependent vectors are always parallel vectors. Also note that point. We have already noted in the last class that linearly dependent vectors are parallel vectors. Now let's again come to the concept of vector space. In vector space, what I have told you is that vector space is nothing but a region or some volume or some area where are a lot of vectors. Okay, and among those vectors there are there can be types of vectors such as linearly independent vectors may be there or linearly dependent vectors may be there. Okay, now let's come to some terms associated with vector space. Okay, so the first term, please write it down the definition. Please write down the definition. Basis. First term is basis regarding with this vector space concept. Now Chandresh is having some doubt. In orthogonal vectors consist of orthonormal vectors. Yes, Chandresh, the metrics in which I discussed that they are orthogonal. Okay, what I said that what is a orthogonal matrix? A matrix is where the rows and columns both are set of orthonormal vectors. So if you remember in the last class we checked the value of R1, R2, R2, R3 and R3, R1. Similarly, if you check C1, C2, C2, C3 or C3, C1, C3, C1, they will all come out to be zeros. These and these all will be zero because the orthonormality follows among the columns and among the rows, both. Okay. So let's come to the term basis. I have taken an example of this vector space. You can see how many vectors are there. In this vector space, how many vectors are there? So if you look at, let's say I'm naming them as x1, x2, x3. So this is a vector space consisting of total 8 vectors. Okay. Now what is basis? Basis, you can see the definition. It is nothing but the set of linearly independent vectors in the vector space. What is the definition of basis? It is the set of linearly independent vectors. So basically it is a set. You know how to denote a set. Set is denoted by curly braces like this. Okay. Now linearly independent. Can you tell me, after looking at this vector space, can you tell me which one of these 8 vectors are linearly independent? Or what should be the elements of this set? Can you tell me? Which ones are linearly independent? Can you tell me? Yes, so linearly independent vectors are those vectors, or else I'll say that linearly dependent vectors will be parallel vectors. We know that linearly dependent vectors exist parallel in the space, and all those vectors which are not parallel will be said to be linearly independent. As simple as it is, we have already discussed, dependent vectors are always parallel to each other, but independent vectors will be anywhere but non-parallel. So what we will say that in this space, you can directly see that x5 is parallel to x6. Okay, x5 is parallel to x6. Similarly, you can see that x7 is parallel to x8. x7 is parallel to x8. There are no other vectors which are parallel to each other. Yes, these are x2 and x3 are slightly different. They are not parallel actually. So what I can say is that these are parallel, means obviously you can write them as x5 as some k times x, x6, and similarly you can write this as x7 as some k dash times x8. That's why they will be becoming parallel. We don't know that k value, but obviously this was the relationship, that's why they became parallel. And you know that if two vectors follows this kind of relationship, those two vectors are said to be a set of linearly dependent vectors. Now, what is basis? Basis is the set of linearly independent vectors. So first of all, except these four, all other are non-parallel to each other. That means all other will be falling into this set. So basically first vector that will come here is x1, next is x2, then x3, then x4. These four are linearly independent because they are not parallel to any of the given vectors. Yes? But now, because of this relationship, we have seen there is some dependency. But if I ask you how many dependent vectors are there in these two vectors, so obviously you will say that one is dependent and the other will be independent. So among x5 and x6, let's say x6 I am taking as independent. Similarly, among these two vectors, one will be dependent, other will be independent. So what we'll say that, let's say x8 is independent. So this set is known as the basis of this vector space. x2, x3 actually, okay, I did not draw them parallel. It was something like this. Any doubt? 1, 2, 3, 4 are linearly independent, and then among these two also, because x5 and x6 is parallel to each other, one will be said to be independent, like y is equal to f of x. You can't say both are independent or both are dependent. You will say one of them should be dependent, other will be independent. Okay. Any doubt in this? Please answer if there is any doubt. Or else write down the next term for this vector space, span. Next term is known as span. So again, span is very easy. It is the linear combination of all linearly independent vectors. So again, if you see for vector space, always the defining terms like basis, span and the rest term that we will see are only based upon the set of or upon the linearly independent vectors in that space. So just keep that in mind. To define a vector space, define a vector space, you should be able to understand which ones are linearly independent and which ones are not. First of the thing that you should know that. Okay, if you are done with that, then everything is easy for you. Basis is just write them as in a set. Span is what? Write them as a linear combination. Linear combination means this thing. Because x1, x2, x3, these are linearly independent. So linear combination of these these all vectors is nothing but combination. Linear combination means this mathematical value is known as span. And why it is known as span? Because in any vector present in this space can be represented in the terms of this mathematical relationship. Like if I want to accept all these 6 vectors, others are dependent. So if I want to express x5 as this combination, then what will I write? x5 can be written as 0 times x1, 0 times x2, 0 times x3, 0 times x4 and 1 time x6. 1 time, or I don't know, let maybe take it as k only. I don't know, but it will be some non-zero value. 0 times x8. So basically span means what? This combination which can give you any of the other vector present in the space. If there was some other vector like this, again you can represent that vector as a linear combination of all the linearly independent vectors, and that is what is meant by dependency. Dependency is that case only, like in the last case we have seen z is equal to x minus y. This is simply because x minus y is a linear combination. That is because x and y are linearly independent. So that linear combination of these two vectors gave you the other vector which was dependent. So what is span? Physically span means what? That combination which gives you all the vectors, all the possible vectors in the particular vector space. If you get that combination, you can write the equation as for any of the given vector in the vector space. Okay? Basically, mathematically, it is just a combination like this. Understood or not? Next term is dimension. And dimension is just simply the number of your linearly independent vectors. So tell me, what is the dimension for this vector space? It's just the number of linearly independent vectors. For the example taken, what is the dimension? Dimension is clearly 6 because it is just the number of your linearly independent vectors. We have seen that these many are your linearly independent vectors. So the number is 6. 6 is the answer. Yes or no? Write down the definition from the board. Okay, so this is all about the concept of vector space. In vector space, we have seen what are linearly independent and dependent vectors, and linearly independent vectors actually help you to find out any other vector present in that vector space. So what we can say is that the most important thing describing the space is its linearly independent vectors. So accordingly, we have 3 terms for this space. First is basis, where you write them as a set. It's a set. then span is nothing but combination of those 6 vectors, and dimension is the number of all these linearly independent vectors. So easy to understand, just these 3 terms you need to remember. Basis as set, span as combination, and dimension is the number of linearly independent vectors. 5 does not depend upon any of these all vectors except x's. I understand. What I'm saying is that still x5 will follow this relationship like this, where all the k's are 0 except the k with the x6. We can say so now that this span, this combination is satisfied by all of the vectors. If let's say there was some vector, if I let's say that this was a vector x9 and x9 was equal to let's say x8 minus x6 plus x1, then again the rest of the constants are 0, but these constants means x8 constant, this is non-zero, this is non-zero, and this is non-zero. What I'm trying to say is any other vector can be represented as a relationship with these 6 vectors, and in the same case, like in this case, the coefficients can be 0 for one of them, 2 of them, but not all of them. Coefficients can't be 0 for all of them, because that will mean that the vector is independent, but if it were independent, then it should come as here, not in here. Understood? Okay, how many of you are trying to solve the other questions from your specific stream? How many of you are solving the other questions? You need to solve all those questions right now only, because the class is still going on and your concepts are very refreshed, so you can solve them simultaneously. If you keep them for like that I'll solve them later on or after when I get the time, then it won't be good for you. Or you can do one thing, that you can solve all those questions on Sundays. Sundays, I guess you don't have any classes, so you can do that you can solve the remaining questions which I am not solving in the class on Sundays. Again, I am emphasizing, it's not the point that how many questions you are solving in the class. In the class, you may be able to solve all the questions, but then also you need a lot of practice, and that practice can only be done by hard work and by your self-motivation. I can't make you to solve all the questions in the class, obviously, but you should be solving them on your own later on. Okay, so please try to do that. Please maintain that habit for all of your subjects. Like this is the second subject only, so you can maintain this habit for all of your subjects, because you know that 80% or I'll say like 70 to 75% of your syllabus is based upon your previous year gate questions only. So if you are thorough with your previous year gate questions, you can grab those 70 to 75 concept very easily, and you just need to now focus on the rest remaining part. Okay, so previous year question solving very necessary it is. Please do that if you want to have a good score, or if you have a good goal in your life, like I want to get into MTech or PSU or something else, then please go into solving all the questions. Okay, that's an advice for sure. If you are not doing, I can't force you, but still, because I'm your mentor here, so I would suggest you to do that. Okay, so let's discuss this question. I can see most of you have answered as the option C, and this option is correct. But some of you may think that why option B is not the answer. Do you think that B option can be the answer? How many of you are thinking why option B is not the answer? So if I look at option B, you have been given 3 functions. Let's say I'm naming them as x1 cos x, x2 sin x, and x3 as tan x. How many of you are having this doubt that why option B is not the answer? That is because you can see that there is a relationship among those, that tan x can be written as sin x by cos x, but, or if I write like this, so there is a relationship, that means there is a dependency. That's what we have studied till now. To find out the dependency, we will just look for a relationship. There is a relationship, but still I am saying this is not your answer, and this is because why we have been asked in the question that what are the set of functions which are linearly dependent. These are dependent functions, but they are not linearly dependent. We have seen the general term for linear dependency. This should be the expression. This kind of expression should be there, not like this x1 into x2 or x1 square, x2 square or cube or something. Linear dependency means just k1 x1 multiplied by some constant added with the other vector multiplied by some constant, not this kind of a relationship. Are you able to understand? Linear dependency means this relationship should be followed. X1 should have power as 1 only. All the vectors should have power 1 and the vectors should not be multiplied among themselves like in this case. So this is not the case of linear dependency. Because this dependency is not linear dependency, that's why option B is not the answer and option C is definitely the answer, because in this case x1 vector is your cos 2x, x2 vector is cos square x and x3 vector is sin square x. You can write these three vectors in the term of this relationship as cos 2x minus cos square x plus sin square x equal to 0. So basically you can say that k1 is equal to 1, k2 equal to minus 1 and k3 is equal to plus 1. Done? See the next question then. Next question. Any doubt? See the next question. So it is given that x1, x2 up to xm are m non-zero orthogonal vectors. What are orthogonal vectors again? Tell me. The dimension of the vector space spanned by the 2m vectors, there will be vectors here, x1, x2, xm and minus x1, minus x2 and so on up to minus xm. What is asked? Dimension of that vector space, and vector space is consisting of how many vectors? 2m vectors mentioned in the question. Orthogonal vectors means the dot product will be 0, the vectors will be known as perpendicular vectors. So give me the answer to this question.